Here's another video, folks. It's going to be a short one. There's going to be a little bit of everything for September month. Enjoy. These are two homemade berry pickers for red berries, blackberries, and blueberries. Just wanted to show you the two different models. Here is bigger size one. There is the smaller one that was handmade. See? Smaller narrow handle and a different pattern. So that's it for that one. And I just showed you the other one. That's two of them. Find out later on which berry picker is the most useful and what will pick the berries the best. Yes! But yeah, I just thought to show you this. These are handmade berry pickers. We'll test them out one of these days. If not this year, another year. Hope you enjoy that. Right on! I saw some raspberries on this raspberry bush. Didn't think they were still around in September. So, it looks good. I picked these rhubarbs during the summer, and funny thing is, there's another set still growing. Yes, bye. That's pretty cool. Little update on the berries. They're getting red. Looking a lot better. But I always check for it in the red berries before I pick them to make sure that there's no whiteness on the bottom of them. So these ones are doing pretty good. There's no whiteness on the bottom of these. But I'll wait for a couple days to get them a bit darker. just to keep checking on them. But I say probably the middle of September or close to the end of September I'll probably start picking a few. So just had to show you how nice they're growing. Now some more of them are now blossomed. These two blossomed it's in a few days. And orange ones are opened up. All three now. And the reddish color ones are opened up as well. This is a map I've been looking at, but here we go up in this corner. It's Jack Lane's Bay. And at the ending of this video, close to the end, we'll be talking a little bit of this actual area.
In 1951, when we moved out of Jack Lane's Bay, that's the Lane's Bay, but always was a Lane's Bay. There was no change in it. We lived in Jack Lane's Bay good many years, and I was born in Old Davis Inlet, they call it. There was Red Island. And Jack Lane, a long time ago, they was cut firewood and get trout and stuff from the brook. Setting that just off the cabin. Lots of food, lots of fresh meat. And the trappers, Brother George used to trap around Summer's Brook and all them places across the bay up to the river. Jack Brook, all them places he used to trap. Father used to go inside of that, trapping, and then Mother used to be she used to be outdoors with a old pal, drive the bears away. Yeah, black bears. You don't fear the black bears, she used to drive them away. Long time ago, my poor grandmother, she lived there a good many years. She was 99 years old when she died. And she's buried in that bay somewhere. Well, I gotta find it, I don't know where it's to. But then, me and Marjorie used to play, she used to have a cooking camp under the old stove, stuck up under the cleft. And she'd make it through cooking for her brother. And that was me when I come back from McCormick at the school. I was at the school, McCormick School. And when I come back, I got a flight back with Americans brought me back to Big Jack Lane's Bay in the old plane, pontoons on it. And we stayed down there for that year, and we had a good day. There's lots of flowers, and lots of berries, and lots of blueberries. I don't know where Mother used to get the Blake apple from, but she used to have Blake apples too. Blackberries, red berries, blueberries, plenty of them. Jack Lane's Bay was a good feeding place. There's no hunger down there. We used to always live down there. Yeah. And that was the Lane's Bay for a long time ago. John Lane's Island, I used to go out there and live with that when I was only small. I used to stay with Aunt Lavinda on John Lane's Island. Then John Lane was related to my father's brother. And Aunt Lavinda was married twice. She was married twice. She had the first husband she had was Walter, Fred, and Charlie. And then the next marriage she 3 boys and 1 girl. And there was one that was the girl. And I was the youngest one. Yeah, that's a long time ago. And I can't tell you all of it, but I'll tell you some.
Little story about your grandmother. She used to live up in Jack Lanes Bay when she was a young woman, newly married to my father. And my grandmother used to live with them. And she was an old timer, and she was showing mother around. They had to live off the land and gathering caribou and partridges or whatever they could find, rabbits and caribou. And they had an old muzzle loader there that they used to use to hunt partridges. And grandmother took mother out one afternoon, and there were partridges really close by in the willows there. So she said, load up the gun, Mabel, get some partridges for supper. So mother loaded up the gun and sat down, and she said the partridges went together, so she aimed at them, she fired, and she didn't know nothing. She woke up, she was out in the snowbank, and her shoulder was all bruised, really sore. And she said, what happened? And grandmother looked at her, she said, Mabel, you fired the ramrod. She forgot to take the ramrod out of the gun, so grandmother made another measuring stick out of the willows there and loaded the gun and went after the partridges, and they were successful to get some for the supper. And she said a week later they went partridge hunting again and took the gun and it got it close to the partridges. The mother got a little excited and loaded up the gun again and fired, and a partridge caught fire, or his back caught fire and flied over the bank and fell down the snowbank. And she looked around, and grandmother was there again. She said, Mabel, you forgot to put the shot in the gun. Yeah. So that my mother told that story over and over again, where she was quite comical. And she said that it was a wonderful life living up in the bay. They were nice and quiet, but she said they had to make do with everything they had because money was scarce, but there was lots of wildlife and lots of char and things like that. And they lived up the bottom of Jack Lanes Bay. And today some people try to call it Big Bay, but she always said there was no such bay. It was always called Jack Lanes Bay and Lanes Bay when she was a girl in 1905 and 1904. And she said that it seemed like it was only after the death of old Jack Lane that got tore up with the dogs on a trip to Hopedale in the spring. She said shortly after that they started to call the bay Big Bay, but she said the original name of the bay was Lanes Bay or Jack Lanes Bay, and it always was in the old people's minds. So I just want you to remember that.
So that's it